Hi and thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean the Vaping Biker, and today is finally the start of the Christmas Wuffle, which I'm very, very excited about sharing with you guys. This is without a doubt the biggest charity raffle I've done on my channel, and I can't say how pleased I am about it. It's two fantastic causes, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment, and just so much gear, it's ridiculous. So hopefully you guys are going to be getting on board with this one, and we can carry on in the spirit that this channel has kind of grown with, and be able to provide some really good money to some really strongly needed causes. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at two charities. Now, I know that last time I did an animal related charity, there were a couple of people kind of a little bit grumpy about the fact that I didn't support other things. Well, unfortunately we can't save absolutely everything, and I'm very, very close to one of these in particular, and because of that, that's kind of what I know about and where I want to focus the this channel's kind of time at this moment in time anyway. So what we're going to be looking at is we are going to be looking at a Romanian rescue, and we're also going to be looking at guide dogs for the blind. So the two of them, we've got the Romanian rescue to help very, very poorly, very, very needy animals, and we've got the guide dogs for the blind, obviously for the training and upkeep and support that guide dogs can give people with visual impairment. So I think that these are two fantastic ways forward, and I can't wait to really make a difference. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can really make a good amount of money on this one. So before further ado, let me give you a quick rundown of what's in these prize packages, because there is a lot there. There is a hell of a lot there, and as I said, it's the biggest one that I've done. Now, all the details are on vapingbiker.co.uk. I'll make sure I leave the link down below, but just to give you a quick rundown, I'm not going to show you everything because they're all in boxes, all by the side of me here. Now then, there isn't a first, second and third prize. I've tried to give a kind of a reasonably balanced amount and things in each box, so hopefully everyone will be happy. Now then, the prize A is going to be the Geek Vape Athena Squonk Kit, the Vaporesso Revenger Kit in red, the Geek Vape Aegis in gold, Digiflavor Siren 22, the original and good one, the Zeus RTA, the Geek Vape Medusa RDTA, the Govad RDA, the Coilmaster Genesis RDTA, the Digiflavor Drop, the Govad RTA, Coil Art D Pro RDA, and Inikin Riptide Kit. Now that's just prize number 1, or A. Now the next one, the prize B, is the Wotofo Nudge Squonker Lost Vape Therian DNA 75C. That's the pre-release one. That's the one that I showed you in the review that didn't have the correct packaging and stuff, just so you're aware of that one. We've got the Coilmaster RDTA, the Cthulhu Azathoth RDA, Geek Vape Aegis, the Amit 25 Medusa RDTA, the Advokin Mantra RTA, Asmodeus Galatech RDA, Vandivape Mesh Pro RDA, Digiflavor Siren RTA, and the Inikin Riptide Kit again. That's only on prize B. We've got another two to get through yet. So quickly, Lost Vape Paranormal DNA 75C, Digiflavor Aura RDA, Geek Vape G-Box Squonk Kit, Stentorian Basilisk Mod in green, the Vandivape Kenzie Tank, OBS Cryos 2 RTA, the Advokin Dominator RTA, Geek Vape Amit RTA, the Vandivape Govad RTA, I think that is, the Peerless, the Geek Vape Peerless in a blue colour. I'm not entirely sure if it's got a squonk pin with that one, I'll have to check. The Spire Nautilus 2 tank and the Asmodeus Galatech RDA. So that's prize C. Prize D, and the final one, will be announced once we hopefully break £1,000. Once we break £1,000 worth of contributions, then I will be adding the Lost Vape Paranormal DNA 166, that gorgeous gunmetal grey one that we looked at when I did the reviews, the Vaporesso Revenger Kit, A-Leader Funky 160 in purple, the Advokin Arthur RDA, the Digiflavor Drop, the Digiflavor Pharaoh Mini RTA, the Rigmod Worldwide Tanker Kit, or Tanker Sub-Ohm Tank, the Vandivape Pyro RDTA, and the Cthulhu Mouth to Lung RTA. Woo! Now then, if, and we have done this before, so it's not unreasonable to think it, if we should break 2,000, then what I'll do is I will add more from my personal stash as well as other bits and bobs, but those prize funds may change, or may increase rather. I'm not going to take anything away, obviously, but they may increase over time. So we'll see how we get on. I'll probably be throwing in things like wiki materials and various bits and bobs in there as well. So there'll be a bunch for everybody, hopefully. Now then, hopefully, if you are one of the winners, then if there's stuff that you want in there that you don't want that's in there, then that'll be stuff that you kind of pay it forward and you kind of give to someone and you get your mate to put a tenner into a charity pot or whatever. That would be fantastic. But hopefully it's not one of those things we see with people kind of selling stuff on eBay and all that sort of guff. But this is going to be open worldwide. However, one of the things that I do need to make you aware of is because of the size of these boxes, I may be asking for some assistance when it comes to the shipping. Now, everything will be shipped kind of super basic post, to be fair. Super basic. It will be kind of first class in the UK. I don't know what that translates to when we go out and abroad, but it will be shipped. There will be tracking and all that sort of stuff on there, but it's not going to be super expensive, sort of super high insurance and all that sort of stuff. So if you want anything, then please tell me, and that's something that I'm going to ask you for. No, when it comes to shipping, I will be checking, but I think, and I'll put this information on the website, but I think it's going to be a case of between £5 and £10 in the UK and maybe £20–25 if going abroad. But I will double check on that. And still, if you've put in 50 quid and then you put an extra 20 quid on top of it, that's still saved you a lot of money on gear. So hopefully we're all going to be happy with that. Normally I like to try and sort of make sure all of the postage is free and stuff, but just with the size of these boxes, it's not practical. I will also be running a smaller one on my Patreon page as well, but that's something that I will talk about with those guys. Now, I think that's pretty much covered all of the prizes. Now, when it comes to how do you get involved, so what I've done is I've done a GoFundMe page, which I'll link to down below, and all you've got to do is you've got to make sure all of your relevant detail is in it when you make your donation. You make your donation to the GoFundMe page, and then once I've drawn the raffle, then what we'll do is we will I will be able to show you guys how I split that money between the Guide Dogs for the Blind and the helping the Romanian rescue dogs. So hopefully that's going to really be sort of as transparent as I can to be. And obviously also what I'll do is record the picking of the names and all that sort of stuff with the randomizer. So you get to see all of that and there's no jiggery pokery or anything wobbly going on. So that I think is going to cover those. Now then, how much is it going to cost you? So let me just get that bit of information out. So what we've got, like we did with the Buster raffle where we raised an obscene amount of money, is we've got £5 for one entry, £10 for 3 entries, £20 for 8 entries, and anything above that will then just get multiplied. So 50 quid, for instance, will be 2 20s and a 10, which will amount to a 20 is an 8, so 2 of those is 16, and a 10 is 3, so that's going to make 19 entries. So hopefully that's all clear. If you are bidding, or not bidding, if you are contributing from abroad or donating from abroad, please make sure that that money is in pounds sterling when you do put that money into the GoFundMe page. That just means that everything adds up and everything's all above board. So that's the prizes, and that's how you get involved. All the links will be down below to the information that you need. Now then, I'm going to go into this in a little bit more. I dare say a few people will waver off about now, but I'm going to go into this a little bit more about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So we brought on Sani, the foster dog, and I put a video up about her ages ago. As a thing where I'd seen photographs of how unwell she was, and then once she'd managed to be nursed back to health, how just sad and dejected and kind of, you know, sad she was while she was over in Romania in these kind of reasonably small cages. And it was something that it really struck a chord to me. There was one particular photo of her kind of looking up to try and get some attention as someone's trying to stroke her through the bars, and it just broke my heart, to be honest with you. It absolutely broke my heart. So that's where we got involved with the group. Now then, the group, once again, for those guys, I will link to down below, just so you can be fully aware of that. But what we've got is we've got raised funds for Save and Care, which is basically, there is a lovely lady by the name of Sandrine over in Romania, and she she just helps animals. She's just one of these kind souls in the world that she gets lots of, she saves for a bunch of different groups around the world, but essentially if a dog is poorly, if it's being mistreated, if it's kind of been in a bad way, in a terrible kind of government run shelter, or and it's all messed up, then she will make sure that it gets looked after. There is a couple of stories which we can talk about when I do the interview a little bit later in this video with a wonderful lady called Linda, who is part of the fundraising team over in the UK. Where Sandrine she's been found kind of dogs with broken legs in bus shelters that people just have ignored, all kinds of illness and upset and bad situations, and she will do her level best to make sure that wherever they are in Romania, they're then kind of brought to the main kind of care facility where sort of good vets can get looking after the dogs, getting them kind of back up to health and all that sort of stuff, and then try and find them a loving and safe and secure home. Now, for me, when we brought Sani back to the UK, she was withdrawn. She was terrified of everything, every noise. She wouldn't lay down properly, it would be all paws on the floor, ready just to bolt at any given time. Her ears were kind of in a very nervous state. Her tail was tucked under her legs the whole time, and she was just having a really shitty time, to be fair. What then happened, the emotional, it's hard for me to explain, and this is because I've not rehearsed this or anything. I want to be kind of real with you guys. It's been incredibly emotional seeing how this, while she's a big fucking dog, seeing how this dog has gone from being so scared of the world and so shy to being a loving, kind of attention hunting, playful, mischievous, excitable, happy dog. It's blown me away personally, to be honest with you. When you realise that a dog that you can save like that may not have seen a sofa, hasn't heard a TV, has never been inside a house before, and and you can give it that home that makes that animal's kind of the rest of its existence a happy one. That to me has been sorry about that. I started getting a little bit emotional thinking about how everything has gone on. It has been a hell of a journey. I'm just going to say that, and I'm so thankful that I've had the opportunity to make a difference in an animal's life the way that we have done with Sani. So hopefully you guys will see the benefit of that. You will see how we can help kind of vets bills, how we can help when a dog has, as in the last example, has broken legs. Once it gets transported to this kind of medical unit in Bucharest, I think it is, how then that vet can kind of put the dog back together and get it well again. That all costs money, and that doesn't come from the government. It doesn't come from anywhere other than kind people like yourself. So hopefully you can see the benefit with that one. It's a hell of a thing to do, and I think it's amazing. Now, the other side of things as well is that we are going to be helping Guide Dogs for the Blind. I think a lot of people already know about Guide Dogs for the Blind, so helping people with visual impairment carry on their lives with the assistance of a guide dog, and I think that the value there is absolutely immense as well. So hopefully you can be on board. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a little interview that I did with the lovely Linda. Now, Linda is with the Save and Care group, who kind of helped introduce me to Sani, as well as a friend of mine, Kevin, who helped kind of me to understand what was going on. And yeah. I might have to cut it a little bit. It might be a little bit long, so I'll stick that in there here right now, and so hopefully you'll get to learn a little bit more. So with me now is Linda, part of the Romney Rescue that helped me find Sani. So Linda, thank you very much for joining me today, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Right, my name is Linda, obviously. My remit, along with Kay, who helps Sandrine, is basically to give Sandrine as much backup as we possibly can.
Yeah.
We do fundraising, and we do the admin side of it, so Sandrine can get on with the actual rescuing. We fill out forms, we send application forms to people who express an interest to adopt a dog. We run auctions, we run raffles. On our group Help a Romy Dog, we post updates of the dogs to save Sandrine doing it. She will send us their pictures.
Yeah.
She will give us a brief explanation. We do everything on the admin side that we possibly can, so that it frees up Sandrine's time to do the rescuing.
That's cool. Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about what Sandrine does?
Right. Sandrine is what we call a lone rescuer. She's on her own. She doesn't have a big rescue or anything behind her. She's employed full-time as well, and she does this in, quote, her spare time. She dedicates her life to it.
Gotcha.
Occasionally she will be asked, like this morning, she was alerted to some dogs in a field who had been neutered, but because there was nowhere to put them, in 3 days' time, they were going to be left back in the field for the rest of the winter because they weren't owned by anybody. So Sandrine's taken those dogs on.
Okay.
She will.
And Sandrine, she's Romanian herself. She's over there. She's based over there. She lives over there, and that's why she kind of knows so much about the how the dogs live over there and how they're treated and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, so let's have a quick sort of dive into where these dogs come from and what kind of life they have before Sandrine finds them, and then where she brings them to kind of help them get on that journey to go back to go to a happy life, you know?
Yeah. Some of the dogs are already in a private shelter up in Petrosani, which is 365 kilometers away from Bucharest. Some of them come from the streets in Bucharest. Some of them, like the two this morning, are living in a field. Yeah. Some of them live in the streets. Some of them are from public shelters, which are basically death camps in Bucharest. Melesti, Bazal, I mean, the pronunciation is rubbish, and places like that. Somebody will alert Sandrine that there's a dog that needs help. So she will move heaven and earth to try and get those dogs.
Yeah, and like you said, with the two dogs that were going to be thrown back into the field again, just a random field for the winter. She also looks out for, while she does get alerted by a lot of people to, you know, help try and find a home for a dog over there. She also looks after dogs if she finds them. There was one recently with a couple of dogs with broken legs, I think.
Yes, that was up at Petrosani. They were found in a bus shelter, basically. One was a puppy and the other one was an adult dog. The puppy, the leg, I don't even want to describe it.
No, that's understandable. So she'll find something that's sort of a little dog in need like that, and then kind of bring it down to Bucharest. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, they go to Bucharest. They either go to Ham Kennels, which is a kennel that, you know, exactly the same as a kennel over here. They've got a vet 24 hours there, which is excellent. Or they will go in the clinic that Sandrine's affiliated to. Her husband actually built some kennel spaces for them in the clinic. Gotcha. So they will be housed in the clinic.
Okay.
She also fosters as well herself.
Gotcha. And the challenge with a lot of this is the fact that while this clinic that they go to is kind of a little bit more modern and they can actually look after the dogs and kind of fix them if possible, there's only so much space for them, so they can't hold as many dogs as need to be saved. Is that right?
Yeah, precisely. It all comes down to space and money, unfortunately. Yeah. You know, Sandrine also believes that personal care comes into it, the quality of care. Yeah. Because if you have, you know, a dozen dogs, you have to think, can you give your time to a dozen dogs as well? Yeah. So that comes into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so once the dogs then get to the medical center, they get looked after, they get fixed up as much as they can be. Then obviously all that costs money, and that's something that you guys get involved with for helping to get that sorted out. and then you're part of sort of groups of people that will then help to try and find them fostering and homes in the UK. Is that right?
Yeah, we have a wonderful group called Help a Romy Dog that we post pleas on and things like that. We use fosters when we know them,
Yeah,
because obviously, you've got to be very careful with who you send dogs to,
yeah,
whether they're UK dogs or Romanian dogs. You know, we've got to make sure that they're responsible people. But we will put pleas out through friends of friends. You know, for example, how you were found. People
yeah.
share the dog's photos, and that's how you found Sunny through Kevin. If
Absolutely.
you shared the photo, you would never have seen him. So
No.
yeah, basically what our group does.
Okay, fantastic. So, how long have you been doing this, by the way?
Um, about 5 years now, something like that.
Have you
It's
got
more
any
like,
idea how many dogs you've helped kind of save over that time, or is that number that I didn't warn you about beforehand, so you couldn't get a count up?
I did have a look. I mean, I don't class myself as a rescuer.
No.
I class myself as Sandrine's helper. Sandrine is the rescuer. She's the one on the front line, and
Yeah.
how she does it, I don't know. But this year alone, we've sent 70 dogs, around 70 dogs, to various places. Some of them have gone to, I think it's Sweden, and some have come to the UK.
Okay, so there are costs involved when it comes to adopting one of the dogs, obviously, and that cost goes towards helping for their vets bills and transportation across to the UK as well. But I mean, I don't think we need to really go into that too much, but it is very, very reasonable. But it's great that you can do such a thing, but what are the sort of challenges that you face with helping Sandrine, and what are the sort of challenges that she faces on a regular basis?
Well, the challenges that we face are quite easy compared to what Sandrine goes through. Our challenges are trying to raise enough money, and trying to advertise the dogs for homes. Where both Kay and I work full time, but like I say, this is sometimes more like a full time job. We're on Facebook virtually morning, noon, and night. Chasing up people, sharing the dogs on different groups, trying to find ways to raise money. We've just done an auction which takes months to organise. Sandrine's challenges are horrendous, because it's like, what dog do you save? If you're faced with the amount of dogs that there are that need help, which ones do
Absolutely.
you and which ones do you walk away from?
Yeah.
I could not do that. I could not do that.
No, no, certainly, certainly. Okay.
Dogs that are sick, if a dog is sick, then we have to try and find the money,
Yeah,
to raise for that, because you can't leave a dog that's sick.
absolutely. And it's one of those things that literally every penny does help. So whether people are sort of, in this instance, buying kind of one raffle ticket or a bunch of raffle tickets, then anything that is raised for you guys will go to a very good cause, and it will certainly help and could save the life of a dog or a few dogs, depending on whatever's going on at any given time. Now, when you do find them homes, or you're part of that process to help finding them homes, obviously you do things like home checks and all that sort of stuff. There's a bunch of things that goes on already. And then, am I right in saying that you do like to sort of be kept up to date with how the dog's progressing over time as well?
Yeah, that's the nice part of it, because you follow these dog stories, and as a group, the group donates towards these dogs,
Yeah,
and we love seeing the updates. And I can't imagine how it must feel for Sandrine, to actually, find the dog, be with it through the rescue, and then once the dog hits the UK, it is so great, and it's a huge incentive, to everybody,
yeah,
that the dog that's seen cowering in the corner of a death camp is suddenly laying on a sofa in the UK.
yeah, yeah.
That's the brilliant part to it.
Absolutely. And I'll be talking about on this video about how Sani has changed and how spectacular it's been. It's crazy. What's your call, or what's your response to people that say there's a lot of dogs in the UK that need fostering? Why do you bring them from abroad?
That is a good question, and we do get asked that quite a lot. And quite simply, dogs in the UK are not in the same position as they are in Romania. I mean, I've sent you the links of what happens. It is horrific out there. Dogs are not treated as dogs over there. They are treated as pests most of the time. In the case of, for example, one dog, Frankie, that came over a few years ago, he was seen hiding in bushes, only coming out when he thought there was food available, and he was dragging his back legs. Now, people walked past that dog for months on end. That wouldn't happen over here. People would be, willing to help that dog. Once a dog hits a UK rescue over here, they're housed, they're walked, they're fed. In public shelters, which are supposedly the Romanian rescue, the government Romanian rescues, they're not fed. They're not given medical attention. The abuse that the dogs receive over in Romania is horrific. And for me, away from that.
Absolutely. And well, I mean, I imagine there is sort of a handful of decent places to look after dogs, but nowhere near enough. And there's a lot more bad ones than there are good ones over there.
Yes, yeah. The public-run public shelters, or the government-run public shelters, were originally built to house dogs for adoption, but because of the corruptness of the system over there, that doesn't happen. And a dog that enters one of the public shelters, it's a death warrant for it, because it's not going to get medically treated. It's not going to get fed unless a rescuer can go in and feed the dog. What other country, where in the UK would you see dogs wandering about on the street? Where would you see a dog in a bus shelter that people have just ignored?
Yeah, no, exactly. Okay, well, hopefully we can raise some money that's going to help carry on Sandrine's quality work over there, and hopefully we can raise a little bit of awareness. I'll make sure that for anyone that's watching, I'll make sure that links will all be down below. I will repeat that again later in the video, but all the links to the Facebook pages and all that sort of stuff, and a bunch of photos and things, will all be down in the description, so you can go and check that out. But for now, Linda, thank you very much just for giving us a bit of an idea about what you do, and that any money raised is actually going to be going to help out a lot of dogs.
Thank you. It's truly appreciated.
Well, so that was it with Linda, and thank you very much, Linda, for doing that. I know that you were terribly nervous, so thank you. Now, sorry for the sound being all over the place as well. I had to record it via Google Hangouts on YouTube and then download it, and unfortunately couldn't do anything about that. But no, hopefully that has given you guys a little bit more of a background about where that money's going to go. It's not paying wages, it's not doing anything like that. It's going directly to helping animals in need, and I think that's exactly what we need to do. So all in all of the details, as I said, down below in the description. Let's raise some money for some good causes. I know it's that time of year where funds are always a little bit on the tight side. However, just think about, rather than having sort of an extra couple of beers, maybe going and making a difference into a dog's life, or a person's life with visual impairment. So let's pull together, let's do a good one. Hopefully you guys like the prizes, and make sure you leave me a comment down below. Thanks very much, and I will see you very, very soon. Oh, obviously, you got to be a subscriber. And on that note, I'm off. Have it larger.